how to take a taxi without getting taken. A special report Monday at 6.
Rams rallies the Giants from a 27-14 deficit, and they defeat the Chiefs 28-27 at the Meadowlands. This is the game winner. A touchdown pass to Zeke Moat, and then the extra point by Ali Haji Sheikh wraps it up for Bill Parcells' club, and they have every reason to celebrate. They stay abreast of the leaders in the NFC East at 8-5. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas at our studios in New York. Before we run down the final scores for you, we can tell you that Seattle has just scored at Denver on the first play from scrimmage in the game. An 80-yard pass from David Craig to Darrell Turner, and the Seahawks in that AFC West showdown have an early 7-0 lead. Now in the game you just saw, Kansas City has lost their 4th in a row, but they went down battling. They threw a scare into the Giants. Phil Simms and company at one point trailed 27-14 before they were able to rally. It was scoreless after 1. Then in the second quarter, the Chiefs went up 7-0 on this pass to Stephon Page from Bill Kenny. He takes it away from defender Kenny Hill in the end zone. Now we'll jump ahead. Kansas City with the 13-point lead at 27-14. Then Bobby Johnson makes this catch of a 22-yard touchdown throw. Nice timing pattern from Phil Simms. That brought them close. And again, we look at the 3-yarder to Zeke Moat. This is the one that did it, 28-27 in favor of the Giants. In St. Louis, Paul McFadden has just kicked a field goal for the Eagles, and they have gone in front of the Cardinals. Could be the 4th straight loss for St. Louis, and they would be in terrible shape with regard to the playoffs unless they rally. Less than 2 minutes remaining there. The Cardinals have the ball. 16-14 Eagles, and they're doing it without Ron Jaworski, who sustained a broken leg, replaced by Joe Pisarcik, and Jaworski is done for the season. Pittsburgh is clobbering San Diego 52-24. They also clobbered Dan Fouts, who left the game in the first half, replaced by Ed Luther. And the day has belonged to Mark Malone. He has thrown for 4 touchdowns and run for another. We'll take a look at some of his scoring passes. The first one went to the rookie Lewis Lipps. For Lipps, his 9th touchdown of the year. That was in the second quarter, 10-0 Pittsburgh. The veteran John Stallworth has caught 3 TD passes. Here is the first one, a 5-yarder in the third quarter. Then he latches onto a 45-yard scoring pass a bit later, also in the third quarter, and he tacked another one on. We won't have an opportunity to see that, but 3 TDs on the day for Stallworth. There is one bright spot for the Chargers. Charlie Joyner has caught 5 passes, and he has moved past Charlie Taylor. He now has 650 career receptions, and that is an all-time NFL record. The Rams have just defeated Tampa Bay. It's a final 34-33 for Eric Dickerson, 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's the 10th time this season that he has rushed for better than 100 yards. He has 1,632 yards for the season and an outside chance to break O.J. Simpson's 1973 record of 2,003 yards. But, of course, if he does it, he'll do it in 16 games. O.J. had only 14. Bill McAtee with the rest of the scores next.
To everyone who's got what it takes to make his own breaks, this Bud's for you.
Testing, testing. This is Paul Martinez reporting from the International Airport.
Thanks, Paul. That's great. I'll take it from here. How do I look? You're fine. Let's fire it up. Come on.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. Let's go to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do.
Are we on? This is Paul Martinez reporting.
We've got under control. Thank goodness the pilot knew what he was doing.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
From the International Airport, this is Paul Martinez reporting.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome to the news team.
To Paul Martinez, my son. Yeah, thanks, boss.
All right, the subject is that race in the NFC East. Well, the nice sweep one out. Washington, Bill.
That's right, Bob. The RFK Stadium now moved into a top Dallas to top the NFC East. They beat rather handily 41-39 consecutive stadium fans of all time, and they look on to Joe Biden passes. He was first, went to the play coverage 11 yards quickly. The Redskins on top. 17 up in short time. 3 that put Reagan below. Time touchdown. We move down to the second quarter. Get more. Joe Biden this time Brown, number 87, is back after an injury. 41-14. The Redskins in Washington 8-5 at Riverfront Stadium. Atlanta, Cincinnati. Turk started today for Sam White, filling in for Kenny Anderson. He quickly threw a 57-yard touchdown pass to Chris Collinsworth. Schonert completed his first 10 passes. The Bengals win it 35-14. There are problems in Atlanta. They've lost 7 in a row. Houston and Cleveland. The Browns have now won 3 of 4 and a 3-2 under Marty Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer looked on as Paul McDonald got the Browns on the scoreboard first in the first possession, but Houston came back and scored on this strange play. Watch Keith Bostic strip the ball away from Paul McDonald. He goes 25 yards the other way. That tied the game. Move now to the second quarter. McDonald hooks up with Ozzie Newsome, number 82. Newsome, the AFC's leading receiver, beats Jeff Donaldson here. 10 receptions on the day for Newsome, 102 yards, and the final in Cleveland is 27-10. The Browns win it rather handily, a game that really doesn't mean a whole lot unless you live in those two cities.
Well, I'm told that Neil O'Donoghue just nailed a 44-yard field goal. There can't be much more than 30 seconds or so remaining in St. Louis, and the Cardinals take a 17-16 lead over Philadelphia. Ahmad, before the game today, we talked about that logjam in the NFC East. Well, the Giants win. The Cardinals look like they've pulled one out, and Washington wins easily, so it stays just as tight as it was.
The Giants still are looking good because they're in first place in that division. But at halftime, it looked like they were making a huge mistake by looking past Kansas City. They were 13 points down in the fourth quarter. Phil Simms took over, and he showed everybody that the Giants can play under pressure.
All right. Pete Axthelm, the Giants win the game. Don't cover the spread. That's how you had it called, wasn't it?
It was very nice to see that. You know, Trump was waxing.
I like a man
eloquent.
who enjoys the game just for the game's sake. No other considerations.
That's me, Bob, the purist. Trump was waxing eloquent about the Giants' response to the pressure. I just wanted to add a footnote to it. The Giants earlier in the year have been the kind of team that could beat Dallas or Washington and then come back really flat the next week and lose to a team like Tampa Bay. Today was one of those weeks when they did come out very flat, and the fact that they proved this time that they can come out that way and still win, I think elevates them to a new level, finding themselves as a team.
All right, Axe, thanks very much. Game's still in progress, and we'll update those scores for you when our post-game show continues in just a minute. Stay with us.
You push yourself as hard as you can to do what's best for your body. And the more you push, the more you sweat. You need the best deodorant soap you can get.
Give your body the best with Safeguard.
I've used other deodorant soaps, and none of them are as good as Safeguard. Only fresh-smelling Safeguard has a combination of rich, thick lather and unbeatable deodorant soap protection.
Give your body the best, give it Safeguard.
First, someone gets an idea. Then someone else may look at it differently. Even add a thought or two. Technology from a company called TRW helps ideas get around. Because getting an idea from one place to another is as important as getting an idea. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
And before we run down the late scores for you, we've got an interview. Standing by at the Meadowlands, Phil Simms, one of the Giant heroes today, joins Don Criqui and Bob Trumpy. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, Bob Costas. A big second half for Phil Simms, Trump.
Yeah, here are the first half numbers. Phil Simms, 10 of 21, 106 yards and 3 interceptions. Second half, 14 of 20, 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Why the turnaround, Phil?
Well, I tell you, I really can't explain except that the opportunities I had in the second half were really there in the first half. I just didn't take advantage of them. Had a few balls batted up in the air, and just really wasn't throwing the ball well. I don't know why. Like I told you earlier, the balls were a little slick, and I had problems with them. And second half, it got straightened out, and I was throwing the ball very well.
Phil, you did a great job. Congratulations as the Giants march on. That's the story from Giant Stadium as the Giants prevail by 1 point over Kansas City. Now back to NFL'84.
And Don, St. Louis prevails by 1 over Philadelphia. That's a final in St. Louis. The Cardinals keep their hopes alive with a 17-16 win. Seattle leading Denver now 7-3. Rich Carlos just hit a field goal for the Broncos in the first quarter. Raiders have a 7-0 lead in the first over Indianapolis playing at home. They've got a wild card chance. San Francisco and New Orleans scoreless at the Superdome in the first quarter. If San Francisco wins, they wrap it up in the NFC West. And Chicago, looking to clinch in the NFC Central, is tied with Minnesota, zip-zip, first quarter at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And we'll be back to wrap things up for this edition of the Budweiser NFL Report in just a minute.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins.
This buzz for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. Showtime,
Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This Bud's for you.
Working out, sweating, gives me the edge. Afterwards, I want to feel dry and odor-free all day. Speed Stick antiperspirant gives me an edge, too. Speed Stick's the wide stick. Goes on dry for man-sized protection. Whatever game you're in, the wide stick gives you the edge.
Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. Shaving's rough on sensitive skin, but aftershave skin conditioner soothes.
Sensible care for sensitive skin. AFTA.
By Menon.
And that wraps up Week 13 of NFL 84. For Bill McAtee, Ahmad Rashad, and Pete Axthelm, I'm Bob Costas. And here's the lineup tonight on NBC. It begins with Silver Spoons, followed by Punky Brewster, then the Vegas Strip Show, and Johnny Carson presents The Tonight Show Comedians. This has been the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football is Ted Nathanson. NFL 84 is produced by John J. Filippelli, directed by Bucky Guntz. Update producer Tom Roy. Technical director Richard Sansevere. Associate producer Rick Diamond. Associate director Doug Graber. Next week, an NFL doubleheader on NBC Sports. The featured games include the Denver Broncos going against the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the Raiders take on the Dolphins in Miami. It all begins on NFL 84 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the games in your area. Your team plays here next Sunday on NBC Sports. Once again tonight on NBC. Will Ricky's football hero become his stepfather? Ex-Raider John Matuzak guest stars on Silver Spoons. Then it's Punky Brewster and her special guest, Andy Gibb, followed by a world premiere movie, The Vegas Strip War, starring Rock Hudson and James Earl Jones. Then Johnny Carson presents The Tonight Show Comedians, featuring comedy highlights of Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Cosby, Steve Martin, Joan Rivers, and others, all tonight on NBC.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.
NBC presents a world movie premiere. His woman betrayed him. His friends destroyed him. Now he stands alone against the odds. The Vegas Strip War, tonight.
New York, a town that sets the standard for fashion, art, and fine cuisine. The word around town is German.
Beck's,
the #1 imported German beer in New York.
The new 16-valve intercooled Saab turbo. It's the most powerful Saab ever built. In some cars, this much power might seem somewhat irresponsible. In this car, however, it couldn't be more practical. Buy or lease your new Saab from your local Saab dealer.
A visit with Mr. T, Monday, live at 5.
Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson, the back nine of the Skins game. Jack Nicklaus, 19 major championships. At 44 years old, he has won 70 times on the U.S. Tour. 5 Masters, 5 PGA championships, 4 U.S. Opens.
It was so slippery down there. He swung and hit the ball and fell. You know, that happened to me once. It was one of my most embarrassing moments of my life. I had 2 embarrassing moments. One when that Stanky kicked the ball out of my glove in the World Series. And this was in an all-star game in Philadelphia, and little Bobby Shands was pitching for the National League at that time, when he was in the National League. And I'm up there. It was a day just like that.